All right, so get this. We're diving into Project Stargate today.
Project Stargate?
Yeah, and it's huge EE.
Yeah.
We're talking a $500 billion project to build an AI infrastructure here in the U.S.
Wow.
And it's mostly privately funded, which is just wild.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible.
We've got news articles, press releases, some insider analysis.
Nice.
The works.
Wow, so we've got a lot to cover then.
I'm already seeing dollar signs and robots.
Well, it's interesting you say that because what's really fascinating here is it's not just about building a few server farms.
Right.
This project aims to completely reshape how we develop AI with a level of investment that dwarfs even major government projects.
Yeah, and they're not wasting any time.
Hmm.
$100 billion is hitting the ground running right now.
Wow.
You know, it's serious when OpenAI, Oracle, and SoftBank are involved.
Oh, yeah, those are some big names.
And with Masayoshi Son, the CEO of SoftBank, as chairman, you can bet things will move quickly.
He doesn't mess around, that's for sure.
It's also interesting to see how this ties into the larger political landscape.
Yeah, how...
Well, President Trump has been very vocal about keeping the U.S. ahead of the curve in AI development, especially in relation to China.
Right, that America First push was everywhere.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But this project seems to go beyond just talk. I mean, there were even whispers about using emergency declarations to speed up construction.
Really?
And to get the power infrastructure online, ASAP.
So the choice of Texas as the initial location for Project Stargate adds another layer to the story.
Yeah, what about that? Abilene is basically ground zero with 10 data centers already being built. And they're planning more across the state. Could this be Texas's new gold rush?
Possibly, but it's important to consider the potential challenges, too.
Like what?
Well, Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick has already voiced concerns about the strain on the state's power grid.
Oh, that's a really good point. I hadn't even thought about that.
These data centers are going to be incredibly energy intensive.
Yeah. So on one hand, you have this promise of hundreds of thousands of new jobs and a revitalized American industry.
Right.
But then on the other hand, you have potential issues with the power grid and who knows what else.
Exactly. And this is where understanding the scope of what they're trying to achieve with Stargate becomes crucial.
Okay, so fill me in. What's the big picture?
They're not just building data centers, they're building the foundation for something much bigger. Artificial General Intelligence, or AGI.
Okay, before we go full sci-fi here, could you
Yeah.
break down AGI for me and for
Okay.
our listeners?
Sure.
What is it, and why does it require a project as massive as Stargate?
So imagine an AI that can learn and reason like a human, but on a scale we can barely fathom.
Okay,
It could analyze massive data sets, make complex decisions, even be creative in ways we haven't even thought of. That's the potential of AGI.
so it's not just about making things faster or automating tasks.
No.
We're talking about an AI that can think for itself.
In a way, yes. And to make that a reality, you need immense computing power. That's what Stargate is all about.
Okay.
It's about creating the infrastructure to train and run these incredibly complex AI models.
Okay, so AGI got it.
Mm-hmm.
Big computing power, big questions.
Right.
But let's be honest, there's always a human element to these kinds of projects.
Yeah.
I mean, Larry Ellison, Oracle's chairman, just became the third richest person in the world
Wow.
after Oracle's stock went through the roof following this announcement.
Yeah, it's an interesting observation. Ellison saw his net worth jump by $12 billion in a single day.
A single day. That's insane.
That kind of windfall definitely raises questions about motivations.
For sure.
Is this purely about advancing AI, or is there a hefty dose of self-interest involved? It's a good question for us and you, the listener, to consider.
All right, so we've got this massive project, potential benefits, potential downsides, and a whole lot of intrigue.
Yeah.
Where do we even go from here? Should we just start prepping for the robot uprising now?
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Okay.
Remember, this is just the beginning of the story. There's a lot more to unpack here,
Okay.
and that's what we'll be doing in this deep dive.
Sounds good to me. But first, let's take a quick step back and make sure we're all on the same page.
Yeah, good idea.
What do we have so far?
What we have so far is a $500 billion project with a whopping $100 billion being invested immediately. The main players are some of the biggest names in tech.
Right.
Oracle, OpenAI, and SoftBank, all working to create AI infrastructure, primarily in Texas.
Okay.
They're promising to generate a ton of jobs and are framing this as a way to solidify America's dominance in the AI world.
Right. And all of this is centered around AGI, which has the potential to revolutionize everything from healthcare to transportation.
Exactly.
But we also have to consider the potential downsides, like the strain on Texas's power grid, and the ethical considerations of creating such powerful AI.
Exactly. We've got a lot of ground to cover, so let's dive back into the details, shall we?
Absolutely.
One of the things that really jumps out from these sources is this sense of urgency around Project Stargate.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's not just the sheer amount of money,
Right.
but also the speed at which they're trying to get things up and running. We talked about those potential emergency declarations. I mean, that's not something you see every day.
No, especially for a project of this scale. It feels almost like they're racing against the clock. Do you think that's driven by legitimate national security concerns? Or is it more about political maneuvering?
I think it's probably a bit of both. AI is being hailed as the next technological frontier. Whoever leads in AI development is likely to have a significant advantage.
For sure.
Not just economically, but also geopolitically. So it makes sense that the U.S. government would want to move quickly and decisively on this.
So let's say they do manage to pull this off.
Yeah.
What will these data centers actually be doing? What does it even look like to build AGI?
Well, a large part of it involves something called training.
Training.
Imagine you're teaching a child to recognize different animals.
Okay.
You show them pictures of cats, dogs, birds, and so on. The more examples they see, the better they get at identifying those animals.
Okay, so it's kind of like that, but on a much larger scale with AI.
Exactly. Instead of pictures of animals, we're talking about feeding these AI models massive amounts of data. Text images code all sorts of information.
Wow.
That helps them learn and develop their abilities.
So these data centers are basically the schools where this AI education takes place.
That's a good way to think about it. They're providing the computational power and infrastructure to process all that data.
Right.
And train these incredibly complex AI models.
You mentioned OpenAI earlier. They're the company behind ChatGPT, right?
Yes.
That's the AI that everyone's been talking about.
Yeah.
They write poems, code, even compose music. Is that the kind of AI they're hoping to build with Stargate?
ChatGPT is certainly impressive, but it's really just a glimpse of what's possible.
Okay.
Remember, we're talking about AGI here, an AI that can learn and reason like a human, but on a much grander scale.
Right.
ChatGPT is like a talented student, while AGI is aiming to be a genius polymath.
Okay, so ChatGPT is the appetizer, and AGI is the main course. I'm starting to see why they need all this computing power. Well, what does that actually mean for us in practical terms? If Stargate succeeds and they create this super intelligent AI, how will that change our lives?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? The potential applications of AGI are almost limitless. In healthcare, it could lead to personalized medicine, faster drug discovery, and more accurate diagnoses.
Oh, wow. I could see that being a game changer, especially for people with chronic illnesses.
Absolutely. And it's not just healthcare. AGI could revolutionize transportation, making self-driving cars safer and more efficient.
Wow.
It could optimize energy grids, reducing waste and lowering costs. It could even personalize education, tailoring lessons to each student's individual learning style.
Wow. It sounds like AGI could have a positive impact on practically every aspect of our lives. But I have to ask, are there any potential downsides? I mean, what happens if this super intelligent AI decides it doesn't need us anymore?
That's a question that science fiction writers have been exploring for decades. And while it's important to be aware of the potential risks, it's also important to remember that AGI is still in its early stages of development.
Okay.
We're a long way from creating an AI that's capable of independent thought and action, let alone one that poses an existential threat to humanity.
That's reassuring to hear.
Yeah.
But even if we set aside the doomsday scenarios, there are still some practical concerns, right? Like the energy consumption of these data centers, we talked about that earlier, but it's worth revisiting.
Right.
How are they planning to power all of this without putting a massive strain on the environment?
That's a crucial question. The sources we have don't go into specifics about their energy strategy, but it's something we need to keep a close eye on.
Yeah.
If they're truly committed to making this project a success, they need to find a way to make it sustainable.
So it sounds like there's a lot of potential, but also a lot of uncertainty surrounding Project Stargate.
Yeah.
It's all very fascinating, but I have to admit, I'm starting to feel a bit overwhelmed by all of this.
I understand. It's a lot to take in. But remember, the most important thing is to stay informed and engaged.
Yeah.
The future of AI is something we're all going to be a part of, so the more we understand about it, the better equipped we'll be to navigate the changes it brings.
You're right. Okay, so let's recap what we've learned so far about the potential impact of Stargate.
Okay, so we've talked about the potential for AGI to revolutionize various sectors like healthcare, transportation, and education. But we've also acknowledged the potential challenges, such as the energy consumption of these data centers and the need for careful consideration of ethical implications as AI becomes more powerful.
Right. It seems like this project is moving forward at an incredible pace, driven by both national security concerns and the desire to maintain global leadership in AI development.
Exactly. And while there are still many unanswered questions, one thing is clear.
What's that?
Project Stargate is a bold and ambitious undertaking that has the potential to reshape our world in profound ways.
Okay, I'm ready to dive back into some of those details.
Yeah.
We were discussing the potential economic impact earlier, but it feels like we just scratched the surface.
You're right. Let's explore that further. The promise of hundreds of thousands of jobs is certainly enticing.
Yeah.
But what kinds of jobs are we talking about, and how will this impact different sectors of the economy?
Yeah, and how will this play out geographically? We know Texas is the initial focus, but what about other parts of the country? Could this lead to even greater economic disparities?
Those are all excellent questions, and to answer them, we need to take a closer look at the specific industries and regions that are likely to be most affected by Project Stargate.
Okay, I'm particularly interested in hearing more about the types of jobs that will be created. Are we talking about high-tech jobs that require specialized skills? Or will there be opportunities for people with a wider range of backgrounds?
That's a key point to consider. The sources suggest that Stargate will create jobs across a wide spectrum,
Okay.
from construction and manufacturing to software development and data analysis.
So it's not just about coders and engineers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Think about it. Building and maintaining these massive data centers will require a workforce with diverse skills. You'll need electricians, plumbers, carpenters, security personnel, and more.
That makes sense. It's easy to get caught up in the high-tech aspects of AI and forget about the essential infrastructure that makes it all possible. But let's not lose sight of the human element here. What about the potential impact on existing jobs?
Right.
Are we talking about robots taking over the world and leaving millions of people unemployed?
That's a common concern, and it's certainly something we need to consider seriously. But it's important to remember that technology has always disrupted the job market.
Right, like the Industrial Revolution.
Exactly. And while some jobs will inevitably be displaced, history has shown that technological advancements also create new opportunities in industries that we can't even imagine yet.
Okay, so it's not just a simple equation of robots replacing humans.
Not at all. It's a complex and evolving process, and the key is to adapt and prepare for these changes. Investing in education and retraining programs will be crucial to ensure that people have the skills they need to thrive in this new economy.
That's a good point. So while there are certainly risks associated with AI and automation, there are also opportunities for growth and innovation. It's all about finding the right balance and making sure that everyone benefits from these technological advancements.
Precisely. And that's why projects like Stargate are so important.
Yeah.
They have the potential to not only advance AI technology, but also to drive economic growth and create new opportunities for people from all walks of life.
Okay, I'm feeling a bit more optimistic now.
Yeah.
But let's not get too carried away.
Yeah.
We've covered a lot of ground, but there's still one key aspect of Project Stargate that we haven't really touched on yet.
And what's that?
The global implications. We've talked about the U.S. wanting to maintain its lead in AI development.
Right.
But how will other countries react to this project?
That's an excellent point. Project Stargate is not just a domestic issue, it's a global one. And it's likely to have significant ripple effects around the world.
So should we expect other countries to try and catch up? Could this trigger a global AI arms race?
It's certainly a possibility. The potential economic and geopolitical advantages of AI are too great to ignore. And we're already seeing other countries like China and the European Union investing heavily in AI research and development.
Okay, so things are about to get even more interesting.
Indeed. And this is where things get really complex. Because as AI becomes more powerful and more ubiquitous, it's going to raise a whole host of ethical and geopolitical questions that we as a global community need to start addressing now.
Okay, I'm officially back to feeling a little overwhelmed.
Yeah.
But in a good way. This is clearly a topic that deserves a lot more attention and discussion.
You're absolutely right. And that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
To help you and our listener make sense of this rapidly changing world and to explore the complex issues that AI is bringing to the forefront.
I appreciate that. Okay, before we get too lost in the global implications of all of this, let's take a step back and remind ourselves what triggered this deep dive in the first place.
Good idea.
Oh.
We started by exploring Project Stargate. A massive undertaking aimed at building AI infrastructure in the U.S., primarily in Texas. We talked about the key players involved.
Right.
Oracle, OpenAI, SoftBank, and the incredible amount of money being invested $500 billion over 4 years.
Right, and we dove into the concept of AGI, which is essentially the ultimate goal of this project, creating an AI that can learn and reason like a human, but on a much grander scale.
Yeah.
We explored the potential benefits of AGI, such as advancements in healthcare, transportation, and education,
Yes.
but also acknowledged the potential risks and challenges,
Of course.
including ethical concerns and the need for a sustainable energy strategy.
Exactly. And we've just scratched the surface of the economic and geopolitical implications of this project. It's clear that Project Stargate is a game changer, with the potential to reshape our world in profound ways. But how exactly that will play out is still very much an open question.
All right, so we've laid the groundwork and explored some of the key aspects of Project Stargate, but now it's time to dig even deeper
Okay.
and really get into the nitty-gritty details.
Agreed. Let's delve into some of the more specific aspects of this project and see what else we can uncover.
I'm ready. Where do we start?
Let's start by taking a closer look at OpenAI, the company at the heart of Project Stargate.
Okay.
They're the ones developing the AI models that will be trained and run on this massive infrastructure. But who are they exactly, and what's their track record?
That's a good place to start. I'm curious to learn more about the people and the vision behind this company. After all, they're essentially shaping the future of AI.
Absolutely. So let's delve into the history of OpenAI, their key personnel, and their stated goals for AGI development.
Sounds good to me. Let's do it.
OpenAI was founded back in 2015.
Oh, wow. So they've been around for a while.
Yeah, by a group of tech luminaries, including Elon Musk, Sam Altman, and several others.
Okay, some pretty big names there.
Their initial mission was to ensure that artificial general intelligence benefits all of humanity.
That sounds pretty ambitious.
Yeah.
Were they always focused on AGI, or did they start with more narrow applications of AI?
They've always had their sights set on AGI,
Okay.
but they've also made significant contributions to more specific areas of AI research and development.
Like what?
For example, they created GPT-3, the language model that powers ChatGPT,
Oh, right.
which has become a global phenomenon.
Right, ChatGPT. I actually tried using it to write a thank you note after my birthday. It was surprisingly good.
It is impressive, isn't it? And that's just a small taste of what they're capable of. OpenAI has been at the forefront of AI research for years.
Right.
And they're considered one of the leading organizations in the field.
So they've got the talent, they've got the track record, and now they've got the infrastructure, thanks to Project Stargate. It seems like they're in a prime position to make some serious breakthroughs in AGI development. But what exactly are their goals? What kind of future are they trying to create with AGI?
That's a question that's been debated ever since OpenAI was founded. Their stated mission is to ensure that AGI benefits all of humanity.
Right.
But what does that actually mean in practice?
Yeah, it sounds great in theory, but how do you ensure that such a powerful technology is used for good and not for harm?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And it's one that OpenAI has been grappling with from the very beginning.
Okay.
They've published numerous papers and articles outlining their approach to AI safety and ethics.
Okay.
And they've been actively involved in discussions about the responsible development and deployment of AI.
So they're not just blindly rushing ahead.
Right.
They're taking the ethical implications seriously.
It certainly seems that way. They've been very vocal about the need for careful consideration of the potential risks and challenges of AGI. And they've been advocating for international cooperation and regulation to ensure that AI is developed and used responsibly.
Okay, that's reassuring to hear. But let's be honest, even with the best of intentions, things can go wrong.
Right.
Technology is often a double-edged sword. What are some of the potential downsides or unintended consequences of AGI that OpenAI might be overlooking?
That's where things get really interesting, because even with the best intentions, it's impossible to predict all the ways in which a technology as powerful as AGI could be used or misused.
Right, like the old saying, the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Exactly. So it's crucial to have these conversations now,
Yeah.
while AGI is still in its early stages of development.
Right.
We need to think about the potential impact on jobs, on privacy, on security, on our very understanding of what it means to be human.
Okay. I'm definitely starting to see the bigger picture here. Project Stargate is not just about building data centers and developing AI models. It's about shaping the future of humanity. And that's a responsibility that we all share.
Well said. And that's what makes this deep dive so fascinating. It's not just about understanding the technology, it's about understanding ourselves and the world we want to create.
Okay. I'm ready to keep exploring. Where do we go from here?
Let's shift our focus from the creators of AI to the potential users.
Yeah, okay.
We've talked about the possible benefits of AGI in healthcare, transportation, and education, but how will these technologies actually be deployed in the real world?
Yeah, who will have access to these advanced AI tools?
Yeah.
Will it be limited to governments and large corporations, or will individuals be able to benefit as well?
That's a crucial question. And it ties into the larger conversation about the democratization of AI.
Right.
Will AGI be a force for greater equality and opportunity, or will it exacerbate existing power imbalances?
Okay, I'm officially hooked.
Yeah.
Let's dive into the world of AI users and explore the potential impact on individuals, businesses, and society as a whole.
Sounds good to me. Let's do it.
So we're talking about the users of AI. Everyone, from everyday folks to massive companies. It's kind of mind-blowing to think about how AGI could touch so many different aspects of life.
It really is. Think about healthcare, an area OpenAI has highlighted as ripe for transformation. Imagine personalized treatment plans generated by AI analyzing your genetic data and lifestyle to create a truly customized approach to your health.
That would be incredible. No more one-size-fits-all medicine. It would be like having a team of experts creating a health plan just for you.
Exactly. And the potential goes beyond treatment.
Yeah.
Imagine AI-powered diagnostic tools that can detect diseases at their earliest stages, potentially saving countless lives.
That's the kind of future I can get behind.
Yeah.
But what about things like access and affordability? Will everyone be able to benefit from these advancements, or will it be limited to those who can afford it?
That's a critical question. The democratization of AI is something that experts are grappling with right now. One possibility is that governments could play a role in ensuring equitable access to these technologies, perhaps through subsidies or public health initiatives.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
It'd be a shame if these incredible breakthroughs only benefited a select few.
absolutely. And it's not just about access for individuals. Think about the potential impact on businesses. AI could help small businesses compete with larger companies by providing them with tools for data analysis, marketing, and customer service that were previously only available to big corporations.
So it could level the playing field in a way.
Exactly. And it could lead to the creation of entirely new industries and job markets that we can't even fathom yet. Remember, the internet revolutionized the way we communicate, share information, and do business. AGI has the potential to be even more transformative.
Okay, I'm starting to see how this could play out on a societal level. But I have to ask, what about the potential downsides? I mean, we've all seen those sci-fi movies where AI takes over and things go haywire. Are we opening Pandora's box here?
It's wise to be cautious and consider the potential risks. One concern is job displacement. As AI becomes more sophisticated, it's likely to automate tasks that are currently performed by humans, potentially leading to job losses in certain sectors.
That's a valid concern. But haven't we always seen this kind of disruption throughout history? New technologies emerge, old jobs disappear, and new jobs are created.
You're right. The key is to adapt and evolve. We need to focus on developing skills that complement AI rather than trying to compete with it.
So it's more about working with AI than being replaced by it.
Exactly. And it's about anticipating those shifts in the job market and investing in education and retraining programs to help people transition into new roles.
That makes sense. So while there are risks, there are also opportunities. It's all about being prepared and approaching this new era with a sense of both excitement and caution.
Well said. And remember, the future of AI is not predetermined. It's something that we're all shaping collectively through our choices and actions. The more informed and engaged we are, the better the chances of creating a future where AI benefits all of humanity.
That's a great point. This deep dive has really opened my eyes to the complexities of this issue. I'm feeling a mix of hope and trepidation, but mostly I'm just incredibly curious to see how this all plays out.
As am I. And that's the beauty of it all. We're living in a time of unprecedented technological advancement. It's a time of both great challenge and great opportunity. And it's up to all of us to shape the future we want to see.
Well, that's a fantastic note to end on. Thanks for joining me on this incredible deep dive into Project Stargate and the future of AI. It's been an eye-opening journey, and I'm sure our listeners will be pondering these questions long after this episode ends.
It's been my pleasure. And remember, the conversation doesn't end here. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep imagining the possibilities. The future is in our hands.
And to our listeners, thank you for joining us on this episode of The Deep Dive. Until next time, keep learning and keep diving deeper.